Stephen Cuoco. At what point did you realize when you started looking into public relations, started looking into casting, you know what, Stephen, I'm pretty damn good at this. I think we should keep following this path.
It really is effortless, Donovan. I mean, it would be the same of how you do your show. When you bring your all to the table with great intentions and no expectations, it just makes life fun and it makes the career of choice fun. My goal is to get on Big Brother. I want to be on that show in the worst way.
You heard it here. He wants on. Yeah. Big Brother.
I want on.
You know, there was recently a big social media challenge of people putting mustard on watermelon and eating it. Did you try that?
No, I never even heard of that. No.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Yeah, mustard on watermelon? We've never gone that far before in letting you guys hear the full promo clip of when I was on the How Did show. But I've always loved that, what they created, and it's funny. And yeah, I'm still submitting my auditions for Big Brother. I have been since 2010. Hopefully I'm on this season, making a lot of changes, a lot of arrangements. I'm going to say that I've been graced to be on a reality show this year by Wilmer Valderrama. He is an actor, producer, and director. It was fun. Couldn't pass up the opportunity. And why not? Once again, it was on iHeartRadio. I believe that episode, it's episode 12. It's going to debut in March. Maybe late April, but I believe because it's episode 12 and they share their new episodes every Thursday, it's going to be in March. Either way, I'm excited. I can officially say that I am a reality star. After all of this time working with people on reality TV and everything, I am one, and I'm looking forward to staying in this jurisdiction because I want to spend the rest of my life doing media and red carpet awards and doing exactly what I'm doing today. You're listening to Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 satellite radio and Biz Talk Radio. All great things, Power 98.5. I'm excited to share with everyone that Power 98.5 has a brand new look, a brand new feel. The app is gorgeous. My team did a great job. If you already have the app, you may have to uninstall it and then reinstall the way I had to on the iOS to get the new version. It is beautiful. A lot more details, a lot more functions. It's very interactive, a lot different from the original. Rebranded the logo. I love it. So whether you're listening to us here or anywhere in the world, very excited to have you with us. Power 98.5, power985.com. Also, Power 98.5 streams live 24/7 on Apple Music. If you happen to have an account with Apple Music, download it on there. But we always love to have you download the app first. It's too beautiful. It's gorgeous. If you're listening on the website, click the bottom right-hand icon. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. It runs 24/7. If you want to be a guest on a show, email us at power98.5radio@gmail.com or contact@power985.com. If you'd like to be a guest on Biz Talk Radio, Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco, you can email me at unitedangelsdream.com. And if you happen to email me on the Power 98.5, guarantee, just like today, whatever interview we do today, it's going to air weekdays, 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, and Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern on biztalkradio.com. Or you can go download the app. The app is nice. I know they're upgrading it. It looks good. But definitely check whatever time zone you're in of when my show is going to be aired. Also, no excuses. If you happen to not listen to the live on Power 98.5, or on Biz Talk Radio, live on air with Stephen Quilco, is available on any one of your favorite podcast platforms, Amazon Music and Amazon Audible, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Do we have a good word for today? I did not write anything out. I'm going to say by feeling, if you're going to do it, and make sure you do it without regret. I just winged it. That's what came to me. That's what I feel is the message for today. Also, I'm highly excited. You guys have heard about it. We're going to talk more about it. We are looking forward to airing this episode over and over again. It's going to be available today, and once again on any one of your podcast platforms, and on Power 98.5 and Biz Talk Radio. We've got Mr. Jacob Talley. He's currently number 5 World Steer Wrestling. I'm going to add in champion. That number is going to fluctuate a lot. Possibly before the end of the day, he could be number 4. He could be number 2. He may be number 1 by next month. Either way, he's at top of the world. On record, the 2024 highlights, he won the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. He also won the Midwinter Fair and Rodeo in Lafayette, Louisiana. The accolades just go on and on. 2023 World Standing Place, 14th. 2023 Wrangler NFR Standing Place, 12th. His earnings are astronomical. We hope a lot more zeros are added onto that. He's got a family. He's got a life. He's got a lot of goals. He's got a lot of things he's going to be continuing to accomplish. And I want to highlight they are known as athletes. That's what's most important. I love that. Jacob Talley, number 5. I'm going to drop it down to number 3, World Steer Wrestling Champion. Jacob, it's an honor you are with us today.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
You just got done doing a podcast earlier. You're on the roll. How are you feeling about knowing you belong in a spotlight?
Man, it's good. It's a little different. I kind of normally like being behind the scenes, but spotlight, and especially in today's world, and if you're going to make it in sports or anything else, it's definitely relevant, and you need to stay relevant.
What have you been doing to stay relevant? What are the things that we don't know about in the public of your world? And it's a lot. It's not like you just get up and go to the gym. You do a lot more than that.
No, man, it's to stay relevant in rodeo, like you have to work at it every day. And it's, like you said, not just the gym. I'm exercising horses. We have horses that are athletes just like we are every day, that they have to stay in shape to get their workouts and their routines in. And I'm practicing for myself for what I do, and then trying to stay in the gym and trying to eat the correct way. And the different thing about rodeo is I don't have a coach. I don't have anybody telling me to be at practice, to be at the gym at 6 a.m. Like, it's something I'm doing strictly on my own.
Does that help, or are you fine with that? Like,
I enjoy it, but you have to be disciplined every day. It's easy to get up and say, well, it's 6 a.m. I don't really want to go to the gym this morning, or I don't want to go catch and saddle horses and exercise them this morning. It's cold, or it's hot, or it's raining, but somebody out there is doing that. And that's how I stay motivated. I don't want to be outworked by anybody. So no matter my situation, I'm going to get up and stay consistent in the things that I'm doing to stay on top of my game.
How often, when we're looking or considering the gym, or you're doing self-coaching, are you in there for an hour? Are you doing cardio? I mean, what does the life of being in steer wrestling, in rodeo, what sort of stamina, what sort of dietary needs, how much sleep, what does it take? Because it's not often that we get to understand about your career and what you've got to do to condition. And you also have a farm. You have a child. You're a husband.
Yep. So you kind of get 2 different schedules. When you're at home and your practice schedule, which is going to be kind of the spring and fall, I tend to get up and spend at least 2 hours in the gym. We'll do about an hour cardio, hour lifting. And I kind of take my time on lifting. I want to make sure I stay flexible and stretched out. Rodeo's rough on your body. And so I want to make sure I'm maintenance the way I'm supposed to be, staying stretched out and not getting too tight. I do a ton of Olympic lifts. Rodeo is all about explosion and quickness. And so I tend to focus on those at least 3 days a week in my workouts. On the road is a little different. Like when we leave to go rodeo in the heaviest part of our season will be from June to September, end of September. And I will not normally come home at all. It's all in the northwest part of the country. So we'll be gone for 3 months solid. And that is a lot of driving all night and all day. You don't get much sleep. It's kind of harder to stay in a routine and in the gym. So I tend to pack around some weights, some dumbbells, a couple little things with me. If I can find somewhere with the gym, if we're stationary for a couple days, I'll use that. If not, I will at least do some maintenance and light lifting that we take with us where, you know, some of these little rodeos are out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And so I can kind of stay working even when I don't have the opportunity to get out and go to the gym.
You know what I appreciate, and this is something because I told you I found out about you through a good friend of mine who is an advocate about supporting athletes such as yourself. She loves rodeo. I like it too. You know, I come from the country, as you know, when we had our conversation. But this is very different. It's not something in the world of TV and film that I'm in. Do I get the chance of having the opportunity to talk to someone like you? But it needs to be highlighted a lot more. What would you say would be the best way to understand about your world and who you are as an athlete, that this is something to potentially take serious, to potentially buy a ticket, and to consider at least getting into it, knowing that if people are into rugby and football and baseball and everything else, this really is an all-American sport.
Yeah,
Can you
sure.
expand on that?
Yeah. So there are rodeos all over the country. The fastest way to learn anything about it or to kind of figure out what's going on would probably be, I'm going to say, just Google or YouTube and getting to watch some videos to where you can see what's going on. Rodeo's just now starting to get to where they're trying to televise everything and get in a routine to where people can watch more. And that's just been in the last couple years since I've started going. When I first started, you would see some big rodeos on there, but they were kind of few and far between. Now they're getting to a point where they're starting to air a lot more rodeos on TV. So that helps be able to follow along and learn a little bit about it. But no, rodeo is definitely an all-American sport. It's one of those to where you got to be tough. You got to have hard work ethic. Just to be able to make it and get up and down the road. Everything is self-funded. Like everything we're doing, we pay our way to go unless we have sponsors that pop in and help us. But for the most part, if we win, we make money. If we don't make a penny. We're spending money to get up and down the road. So it's something that you have to work at every day just to be able to provide for your family or get up and down the road yourself.
I see here Jacob Talley, most recently on the Cowboy Channel. Jacob Talley's 3.7 second run secures the ultimate title in San Antonio. How important are those seconds when we think about what you're doing, Jacob? What's the lowest? What's realistic? What do you aim for?
So anytime you're any sort of three, you're winning. Timed events, steer wrestling is a timed event sport. It's the fastest time wins, and they clock it by tenths of a second. And so, like, where I was 3.7 that night, the guy that won second was 3.8. Like, I had him beat by a tenth of a second. And so if you're anywhere from 3.5 to 4.0, you're normally going to win good money.
Is someone going to eventually be able to beat you out of that, or are you going to get back in to try to beat your own score down the road?
No, so what that one is, like when you go compete at the San Antonio Rodeo, it was 2 in February, and when we competed and ended there, that one's over. Like I ended up winning that one. It'd be like a regular season football game. When that game's over, it's over. You move on to the next one, and so then we'll move on. Like this weekend, I'm competing at Rodeo Austin in Texas, and so we'll compete there, and then after this weekend, it'll be over. We'll move to the next one. So you just kind of follow different rodeos through your regular season, and you add up your total money won at all those rodeos to qualify you for the national finals at the end of the year.
Says here, when asked about his mindset entering the final round, Talley said, to just do my job. I knew I had a good steer. I've been really blessed with horses and a supportive family. So it just made it easy. Where is your mind? Where are your thoughts in there? Is it outside of the ring, or are you fully immersed into just getting the job done, not focused on the time or anything else, and you'll take care of business once you get the job done?
Man, when we start getting ready, which is normally an hour before the rodeo, we have to warm up horses, get them loose, get us loose. When it comes to that point mentality-wise, I'm just focused on what I have to do. I've already done the research on what animals I'm going to run or what animal I use, and I will make my game plan for what I think works best. But when it comes right down to it, I try not to overthink. I am fully prepared when I get to where I'm going. I prepare in the practice pen. I prepare in the gym. So I know when I get somewhere to not let my brain work against me. I prepared my body. I prepared my mind. I just back in there and take it as it's my job. Mm-hmm. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm the best at my job. Just don't think too much, because when you think too much, you can tend to mess up. So I just kind of trust what I've already done and prepared, and know when I get somewhere I have prepared to the best of my ability, and I fully plan on winning every time I go.
In all your years of, I believe you said you started when you were 20 years old. You've got a background having have played in professional football. Do you see the industry getting better when we think about steer wrestling? Are you proud to be in it, if ever so, at this point in time in your life, and to be a representative of the sport and to be an athlete of it?
Absolutely, man. When I first started, your rodeo cowboys were kind of a different group. Not many of them went to the gym. They would kind of play and party and use it as it's a fun thing to do. If they make money, great. If not, great. But it's shifted in the last couple of years now, and that's why I would identify as an athlete. We stay in the gym. We stay working. I've liked watching it grow into what is actually a sport, not just a hobby. And it seems like in the last 5-6 years, it's starting to try and get more sports minded. People are staying in the gym. They're actually working at it harder. They're taking care of their bodies. And for me, that's something coming from sports that I tried to do from the very get-go. So to see it change more towards that, and people are getting better, which raises the competition level, which I love, man, it's pretty awesome to be part of.
Here on the Wrangler Network, it says, Talley attended just 13 rodeos a year, and that was perfectly fine by him. His wife, Bailey, and now new baby, Christian, needed him back at home, and there's no place he would be, excuse me, or where he would rather have been but home with his family. There is a backstory to this. It's remarkable. You shared it with me. I didn't know that it was public knowledge, but you had taken a year off because your wife at the time had some sort of sensitive things that were happening during the pregnancy.
That's right. I finished the year in 21, ranked 3rd in the world. And we started that year. I went to the first few rodeos, and we found out we were pregnant. And it wasn't long. She just stayed sick. And so we went in. They found out that she had some complications with her and where her cord was attached with the baby. And they told her she was not bedridden, but she couldn't sit in the car for more than an hour at a time. She couldn't travel. We couldn't really go anywhere. And so rodeo is nothing but travel. And with everything going on, we live almost 45 minutes from a hospital or town. We kind of live out a little ways. I didn't feel comfortable leaving her here by herself. And as a husband and a father, my responsibility first is her and that child. And so I decided to just step away from it for a year and make sure that she was taken care of and okay, and that he got here healthy and safe. And then we just figured we'd start back over in 2023 once we knew that everything was okay with both of them.
If I heard this correctly, did you say that the cord was not attached to the baby?
It was attached, but instead of where it normally attaches, it was attached by like a spider web vein up around the top. And so which made it to where if she had any natural contraction at all or anything, it could unattach, which therefore would put her at risk and the baby at risk, especially being that we are so far out. He wouldn't have survived it, and there's a chance that she wouldn't even made it to a hospital if that happened.
Were both of you, or who was the most confident in faith that it was going to be okay?
Man, both of us were pretty strong. I know I believe in Jesus, and that is my main priority in life. And I know he has a plan for my life and for my wife's life and for my kids' life. And so I knew there was a reason whatever happened, whether it be me to take a year off and be with him, or for us to slow down a little bit and enjoy life together at the beginning of his life. Whatever that reason was, I trusted God that no matter what happened, it was his will, and I was going to remain faithful there, and that the kid was going to be okay and safe, and they were all going to make it through it just fine. And so having that reassurance and just faith that, man, I trust God with my life and the plan for my life, it just kind of made it easy almost.
Here's something you had stated. I'm going to read it. It absolutely put things in a perspective for me. You know, rodeo is great, but it's not a priority in life. As long as you have God in your family, you're good. My priority was to make sure everyone was healthy, and now we get back to normal a little bit. What is normal, and did you ever really get back to it?
Man, we have. It's been a little different. Normal for me would be getting back in the gym and practicing and rodeoing. When I stepped away from it, I completely stepped away from it. I stayed in the gym. I always liked taking care of myself, but I didn't get to practice hardly at all, or I guess prepare really for the next year. So getting back to the normality of getting up to go in the gym and practicing was nice. It was good. It's changed a little bit when you have a kid and a wife, and your priorities are still, you have to take care of them. And so I have to take care of my business here today, but also the way you look at things and the outcome, say you go somewhere and it doesn't go very good, or you have a bad day at the gym or a bad day at practice. Now, we're never going to have great days every day we do something. It just makes it better knowing when I come home, his little face is sitting there smiling at me and she's waiting there. It makes things a lot easier, and you don't have as much pressure on yourself all the time, because that would be more of a priority than me going and winning everywhere, is just having that family and making sure they're taken care of.
You look absolutely huge, not only in your photos, but definitely on television. How tall are you?
Man, I am just at 6 foot, a little over 6 foot.
You could pass for 6'4" on TV. I mean, huge.
Well, in my brain, I think I am 6'4". That's a little different.
Or 6'7", maybe.
That's right. Yeah, there's no limit there.
Yeah, you look larger than life. Is there a set goal for yourself of, are you high protein? Are you getting in vegetables every day? Is it 3 to 5 meals? Is there a cutoff point? Do you ever fast? Like, what is the optimal weight? What does the nutrition look like? Are you meal prepping? What goes into this? I mean, because you're not a small person.
Yeah, man. At home, it is definitely a lot easier than when we're on the road. I can kind of plan meals out or eat healthy and eat clean than when we're traveling. I tend to stay away from fried foods and anything with carbonation and caffeine stuff. I don't like doing all that. And you get to a point where sometimes you have to if that's your only option. But at home, I can kind of stay away from all that stuff. When we're traveling and actually on the road and competing, sometimes it's kind of scarce. There's a lot of fast food places. I would like to stay away from fast food. So what I do is I try and pack around some stuff with me, or if we stop somewhere to get fuel, you get healthy snacks, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruit, anything you can find at a convenience store or a grocery store, just to stay clean. And I like staying around 230 to 240 for my weight and height. I guess in my event is about the most I want to be is 240, 245.
Wow. That's a lot of weight to carry, but I guess you're fine with it or used to it, especially during your days in football.
Yeah, man, I carry it pretty well. Staying in the gym helps. I feel like you can get to be a fluffy 245, or you can be a stout 245. So I try and stay on the stout side of 245, not fluffy.
Who are you ever compared to? I'm sure that you do. You have a comparison of someone else in your industry in steer wrestling, or do you just stand out of just being of your own nature and no one just tries to compete you against somebody else?
And for the most part, I like to be the standout. I like to be a little different and stay in the gym. Like I said, the last 5 years is when people actually started getting in the gym and taking it like athletes. So I would say I would be on the stouter end of everybody that competes in rodeo right now. Just because, I mean, I started when I was 10 years old.
Wow. When you look back onto what you've done, whether videos, photos, how do you think of yourself? What do you think of yourself?
That's a tough one. I don't really know. When I look back, sometimes it's cool to see what I've accomplished and some of the places we've gotten to go and big arenas we've gotten to compete in. And again, I like to, all the glory goes to God. I like to be humble. I'm blessed to do what I do, but then I also look at it as I want to go bigger and want to go strong. So if I'm looking back at what I've done, I'm trying to learn how I can tweak it enough to get better and go bigger than what I already have done.
I'm going to go ahead and play something for you. I want to take you down to memory lane 6 years ago, if not a little bit over 6 years. Let's take a listen.
I'm Kendall Ponce here with Jacob Talley, who just won the steer wrestling competition. Tonight, he scored a 4.0 flat, taking the lead with an 11.5 combined on his 2 runs. How was your run tonight?
It was good. I knew the steer. My traveling partner actually ran him in the slack earlier this past week, and so I kind of knew what he was. He was 4-1 on him, so I had a pretty good idea on how he would be when I ran him.
In your first ride, how did you feel that one went to this one? Were you more comfortable the second time in the arena, getting a little more used to how everything works here? Yeah,
that was actually our third one because we run 2 in the slack each. So it was, which it was a week and a half ago. Yeah. But I'd already run 2 and got to go home and then come back. So I was kind of familiar with the start and how the steers were out here.
And where is home for you?
Right south of Shreveport, Louisiana, in Keachai.
Awesome. So where are you going after this rodeo?
I will go back home, and then there's the semifinals for the American next week, and then to Houston the beginning of March.
And tell me a little bit about your horse. How old is he?
He actually turns 15 here in about a week. I've had him since he was 6. He's kind of starting to find his groove. He's kind of been a problematic horse a little bit, but he's starting to figure things out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the big win tonight. I'm Kendall Ponce. Keep watching San Angelo Live.
So that was on San Angelo Live. That was 6 years ago. Your win in the 2018 San Angelo Rodeo. How did it feel hearing that?
Oh, man, I sound like a kid. It's been a while, and that was the first year I qualified for the national finals was 2016, and then came back and qualified again in 2018, which that kind of kicked that year off there. So I'm gonna say I was still a little new to it. Like I had just kind of started figuring out how to make it work the way I want to. And I look back thinking on it now, it's totally different. It's funny how you mature year by year by year, and you hear that, and it's like, I thought I had it figured out then. I'm sure in 5 years I'll think that about now, but you've matured and changed quite a bit since then.
Yeah, you do. You did sound slightly different. You were what, in your 20s back in 2018?
Yeah, man, I would have been 26, 27, almost 27.
Wow. Yeah, you looked, you haven't I wouldn't say you aged, but you definitely had more of a younger appearance. But I'm going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, you're doing very well.
Man, I appreciate it.
You're eating all the right things. You see what happens when you stay away from fast food?
Exactly. Yeah. You age well. It doesn't look too bad.
How does Bailey feel? Where are you guys at now in your life, in your marriage, being parents?
Man, it's amazing. We have been blessed with the most easy, happiest kid on the face of the planet, I think. I mean, he has always got a smile on his face, and we not put him through a lot, but if we're on the road, I mean, he's in a vehicle a lot for being young and in a car seat a lot, and he absolutely loves it. If I load up to go anywhere, he's wanting to go, and he's wanting to be around the horses and be in the arena. And it's good because I get to take her with me and him with me the majority of places in the spring and the fall until we leave for the summer. And so it's different with a child and a wife, and I'm sure it's different for her with the child, especially when I'm having to go and come back at home. But we honestly, man, have been so blessed with such a good kid, and he loves all of it. It's been actually really simple.
It's incredible. You're 33 now. When is your birthday, by the way? When do we get to celebrate it?
In January. It'll be the end of January.
Well, we're past that, so we have to wait until next year.
That's right.
I don't know if you heard it or if you hear the playback. There was a confidence. There was this feeling of, yeah, I'm not going to be getting older anytime soon.
That's right. See, we're just still perfecting, man. I don't like to get old. I like to perfect.
Well, you're doing a great job at it. What else do we have to look forward to from you? Would you ever be a commentator in this world of steer wrestling? Is that possible?
That would definitely be possible. I feel like here recently in the last couple of years, especially since that particular point, like that was probably one of my first handful of times on a camera. And so now it's getting to be a little bit more easy and easier to talk in front of people or with people. I used to be really, really shy. And so it's kind of opened me up a little bit. I think I would be open to the possibility of doing a little commentating or some sort of TV work with rodeo.
We had a discussion about your Instagram, which is Jacob Talley, JACOB TALLEY 50. First off, what is the 50 for?
50, that was a football number. And I created it back a long time ago, and it stuck. So I've kind of just kept dragging that number around. At least to me, it's not really something that means a whole lot as it bothers me if I didn't have it. But you can also look at that and say, I came from this a long, long time ago, which helped me to get to where I'm at today.
I like that. I wouldn't discourage you to keeping it.
That's right. Yeah. That's why I've kept it for this long. So,
yeah, I appreciate that. Social media, and due to our last conversation, our heart-to-heart conversation, where are you at now with seeing, or are you seeing a bigger vision of yourself online, in photos, possibly with newer sponsors? Has the look and the feel of who Jacob Talley is within your internal vision?
Yeah,
what does he look like?
That's something I've never been great at, and I'll be honest. Social media is something I'm not really known how to work or use. But it's same with like listening to that video. I feel like we have to mature as we go and realize what stays relevant today and what helps us go today. And I would like to change mine to where people get to see me a little bit more and know who I am instead of just what I represent as an athlete. They actually know me as a human and as a person. And so I would like to kind of get it growing and going to where I can change, I guess it's your brand or whatever, to not who you represent or what you do in the arena, but also who I am outside of a working arena.
There is something I should, consider. And I'm about to say, because I'm reading over this information and I'm glad it was found. I would like to see T-shirts made and a possible slogan to be on these T-shirts and part of your fresh, brand new branding. The PRCA, Pro Rodeo, they shared a post of you, about you. It was a video back on February 28th. And it says, "We're getting rowdy for Jacob Talley." And that's how you pronunciate your last name, right? Is it Talley?
Yep, that's correct. Yes, sir.
See, I knew I had it right, but I got to ask the question just in case.
That's right.
All right. "We're getting rowdy for Jacob Talley." I'm being very serious. If they have not trademarked or copy, written this for promotional purposes, strictly of you, I'm going to tell you, I'm saying this as an advisor, I would start using that slogan moving forward for any merchandise, mugs, even for promotional purposes before you go out. "We're getting rowdy for Jacob Talley."
No, that's a good one.
It is.
I'd have to do a little digging to make sure they haven't got that yet, but yeah, for sure.
I'm actually, this is what I'm going to do, because I'm not waiting. I'm actually going to go on here right now. I'm going to find, where are you at? You can't be that far down. No, there you are. So what I'm going to do, I'm sending it to you. We're getting rowdy for Jacob Talley. And then, because I don't know if you ever seen that or not, I'm going to take a screenshot of it, and I just sent that to you. Consider it.
Yeah, for sure. I will definitely do that.
I think it's incredible, whether they thought about it or not, or just, were passive with oh, hey, what are we going to do for this post? A good, memorable tagline. Hey, it prompts people to automatically cheer without having to think about how they're going to cheer about you. They're being told they have to be rowdy. So from a PR perspective, marketing, branding, image, and reputation, and even from a journalist perspective, you're just telling the world this is what's going to happen every time your name is mentioned, when we read it, when we see it, when we hear it, no matter what. You better get ready to get pumped, to get excited, whether you have a Coke in your hand, a beer, a water, or whatever it may be. You better get rowdy.
Right. You just give them permission to go ahead and get rowdy, planning on you to win.
That's it. Right. That's it. You see how this works?
Yes, sir.
You and I had a phenomenal conversation before, and all of these golden gems keep popping up, and I'm going to have to say thank you, God, because that is it. I did not expect that, but now I'm sold on it.
Yes, sir. No, that's pretty cool the way it's working out.
Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Man, obviously my family, Bailey and my little one, Christian. It's awesome to have them in my corner, but I have my parents still and my brother, and it takes a whole support crew to do it. And I'm sure it's just like anything else. And sometimes it's not physical support or monetary support, but just knowing that you have people like family in your corner that push you and will be out here to help me practice. And I can't tell you countless times where my dad and my brother and my mom or Bailey, they help me practice when it's raining and nasty. And, there's no credit or no glory for them in that. It's just because they love me and want to see me succeed.
I'm proud of you. And we are getting rowdy for Jacob Talley every day, all day, even on his Instagram, Jacob Talley 50. Thank you for being with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
And I want to make sure, did I get that? Yep. Jacob Talley 50. Proud of you, excited for you, and you're going to continue to do great things, and just know you're moving in the right direction, and I hope you take this as confirmation of it.
Man, I sure appreciate it.